A contemporary issue is a significant social, economic, or political challenge that affects society right now. Contemporary issues can require community action, policymaking, or public discourse. Examples of contemporary issues: climate change, poverty, disease, overpopulation, illiteracy, migration, human rights issues, crime and punishment, environmental issues, business and economic issues. How contemporary issues impact society. Contemporary issues can influence government policies and shape public opinion. They can also reveal the dynamic relationship between citizens and their government. How to get involved. You can get involved in contemporary issues by participating in public discourse, taking action in your community, supporting charities that work on issues you care about, organizing events to raise money for charities, learning more about the issues that affect your community. How to identify contemporary issues? Contemporary issues can be identified by looking for issues that are trending on social media, or are being discussed on TV, online, in newspapers, or on radio or podcasts. This is what we call a pressing matter that affects our society today. A contemporary issue. Hello, I'm Sarah, and I'm on a mission to uncover all the burning questions that our modern world has left unanswered, and one of those questions pertains to contemporary issues, or as I like to call them, the hot potatoes of our time. Now, as someone who has spent more hours than I'd like to admit scrolling through news feeds and binge-watching documentaries, I think I'm qualified to talk about this. So, buckle up as we dive into the world of contemporary issues and see how they shape our lives and the world around us. You know, when I first started paying attention to the news, beyond just the weather forecast and sports scores, I was overwhelmed by the sheer number of problems facing our world. I mean, have you ever tried to explain to your grandparents why everyone's talking about blockchain? It's a disaster. Now imagine trying to grasp all the complex issues our society is grappling with. Not a pretty picture, right? So, let's talk about these contemporary issues. They're the big, often scary topics that dominate our news cycles, social media feeds, and dinner table conversations. They re the challenges that keep world leaders up at night and inspire passionate debates among friends and strangers alike. How do we define them? Well, contemporary issues are significant, social, economic, or political challenges that affect society right now. They re not just passing fads or minor inconveniences. These are the heavy hitters that require community action, policymaking, or public discourse. Today, I'm going to walk you through some examples of contemporary issues because, as it turns out, not all problems are created equal. It's like comparing a paper cut to a broken arm. They're both injuries, but one's definitely going to impact your day-to-day life a lot more. I'm going to show you something. Look at this list. Climate change, poverty, disease, overpopulation, illiteracy, migration, human rights issues, crime and punishment, environmental issues, and business and economic issues. Quite a lineup, isn't it? Each of these topics could easily fill a whole library of books, let alone a single video, but they all have one thing in common. They re-issues that are affecting our world right here, right now. Let's take climate change. For instance, it's not just about polar bears anymore. We're talking about rising sea levels threatening coastal cities, extreme weather events becoming more frequent, and entire ecosystems being thrown out of whack. It's like Mother Nature decided to crank up the thermostat, and we're all sweating the consequences. Or consider poverty. In a world where some people have more money than they could spend in 100 lifetimes, others are struggling to put food on the table. It's like we're all playing Monopoly. But some people started the game with hotels on Boardwalk and Park Place, while others are still trying to scrape together enough money to buy Mediterranean Avenue. And let's not forget about disease, from global pandemics to antibiotic-resistant superbugs. It sometimes feels like we're living in a real-life version of Plague Inc. But why do these issues matter so much? Well, let me tell you, contemporary issues are like the weather. They affect everyone, whether you pay attention to them or not. They can influence government policies, shape public opinion, and reveal the dynamic relationship between citizens and their government. It's like a giant game of tug-of-war, with different groups pulling in different directions based on their views on these issues. Take climate change again. The debate around this issue has led to new laws, international agreements, and changes in how we produce and consume energy. It's reshaped industries and sparked innovations. And it's not just governments and big corporations feeling the impact. It's changing how we live our daily lives, from the cars we drive to the food we eat. Or look at migration. This issue has sparked heated debates about national identity, border control, and human rights. It's influenced election outcomes and international relations. It's like a stone thrown into a pond. The ripples spread out and affect everything they touch. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sarah, you're saying, this all sounds pretty overwhelming. What can little old me do about these big, scary problems? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because here's the thing. You can get involved. In fact, I'd argue that you should get involved. These issues affect all of us, so we all have a stake in addressing them. So how can you dip your toes into the waters of civic engagement? Well, there are plenty of ways. You can start by participating in public discourse. That doesn't mean you have to become a political pundit overnight. It can be as simple as having thoughtful discussions with friends and family, or sharing reliable information on social media. Just remember, the key word here is thoughtful. Nobody ever changed the world by sharing cat meme. Well, maybe they did, but that's a topic for another video. You can also take action in your community. This could mean volunteering at a local food bank to address poverty, or joining a beach cleanup to tackle environmental issues. It's like being a superhero, but instead of a cape, you wear a volunteer t-shirt that's probably one size too big. Supporting charities that work on issues you care about is another great way to get involved. Whether it's donating money or time, you're helping to fuel the engines of change. And if you're feeling really ambitious, you could even organize events to raise money for these charities. Trust me, planning a charity bake sale is a lot more rewarding than planning your next Netflix binge session. And let's not forget about the power of education. Learning more about the issues that affect your community is a crucial step in making a difference. It's like building your own personal library of knowledge, except instead of dusty old books, you're filling it with understanding about the world around you. Now, you might be wondering, how do I even know what the contemporary issues are? Well, fear not. Because identifying contemporary issues is easier than you might think. It's like being a detective, but instead of looking for clues at a crime scene, you're looking for trending topics in the media. One way to spot contemporary issues is by paying attention to what's trending on social media. If your Twitter feed is suddenly full of people talking about a new environmental policy, chances are it's a contemporary issue worth looking into. Just be careful not to fall down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and cat videos. Trust me, I've been there, and it's not pretty. You can also keep an eye on what's being discussed on TV, online, in newspapers, or on radio and podcasts. If a topic keeps popping up across different media platforms, it's probably a contemporary issue. It's like playing media bingo, but instead of shouting bingo, when you win, you gain a deeper understanding of the world around you. So, there you have it. A whirlwind tour of contemporary issues. We've covered what they are, why they matter, how they impact society, and how you can get involved. Remember, these issues might seem big and scary, but they're not insurmountable. Every big change starts with small actions, and you have the power to be part of that change. Whether you decide to tackle climate change by reducing your carbon footprint, address poverty by volunteering at a local shelter, or combat illiteracy by tutoring in your community, you're making a difference. And who knows, maybe your actions will inspire others, creating a ripple effect of positive change. It is like that old saying, be the change you wish to see in the world. Or was it, be the contemporary issue solution you wish to see in the world? Well, you get the idea? That's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below which contemporary issues you're most passionate about. Have you ever gotten involved in addressing a contemporary issue? Or maybe you have a unique perspective on one of the issues we discussed? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of contemporary issues, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you and miss out on any future explorations of our complex world. Big thanks to my patrons for literally making this video happen. If you'd like to support the channel and help me keep uncovering the pressing questions of our time, you know what to do. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and remember, in the world of contemporary issues, Every action counts. Goodbye.